Meanwhile, some lawyers have suggested that judges are overly lambasted for decisions they arrive at.
While some lawyers argue that the trend could be detrimental to the administration of justice, others think it would make them give fair judgment.
You cannot just criticize the judge when you don't know what transpired in the court, because in the court we are based upon evidence. Now, if the case has come to the court and the evidence is not adduced, and the judge then takes a decision, and then you turn back to attack the judge, when you don't know the law, you don't know the principle upon which the person has done it, then I will say that you are at fault. The media has a means to project themselves, and so they make, pronouncements which have no basis whatsoever in law.
As academicians, they have a right to look at the judgments and decide whether the judgments are judgments that should be taught the children, or the children should be referred to read, the students should be referred to read or not. The criticism must go on, but it makes us better. It makes us better as lawyers, as judges, and as practitioners.
A judge has to make a decision. The decision is based on the information provided to the judge. The information would normally come from two competing schools of thought, and the judge, as his name and position implies, has to make a judgment to buy into one side of the story or the other. So a judge does nothing wrong in agreeing with one side and disagreeing with the other, because that's what a judge is supposed to do. Ghanaians simply do not seem to appreciate that. Judges are not investigators, they are not prosecutors, they are not defense lawyers, and judges indeed are not permitted to descend into the arena of the conflict. It's a judicial malfeasance. They are supposed to stay neutral and make up their minds one way or the other. You can criticize the judge's reasoning, but you should not criticize them for the conclusion for being a judge.
The work of a judge is in the nature of academic or scholarly work, and you will agree that among the finest academics in the world, a lot of the time they disagree among themselves in a very heated manner. The only difference is that the language that is employed shows respect and decorum, and that is what we must do. I am absolutely entirely in support of any move whatsoever that looks critically at a judgment and assesses the strength, the reasoning, the logic, the power of the law behind it. That must always be done. And for me, there's nothing like overly criticizing it, only insofar as insulting or untoward language is not used.
A judge gives a judgment, and you think it is wrong in law, there is a process by which you appeal.
But judges are not above criticisms.
No, it should be constructive criticisms. It doesn't mean that the judges is a repertoire of knowledge. He has all the law in his bosom. Sometimes the judges are directed. The judges also read the same books we read. So if a judge, let's say granted that he's made a mistake, you do not have to attack the judge. The judgment is there. We look at it, we critique it. That's why we have even journals, that when judgments are given, an opinion is written in a journal to show the criticism, that what should have been the position, that maybe the judge had not adverted his or her mind.